Perfect. Now I have your number. Thanks.
Hey, I'm Robbie Kramer. You're listening to the Leverage Podcast, where we discuss using your social skills to hack dating, travel, finding your dream job, and becoming a complete man.
Yo guys, welcome back to episode number 2 with Alex Leone of Tilted and the Natural Lifestyles. This is the second part of the interview that we started last week, so if you haven't listened to that, I'd recommend going back and doing that first. Enjoy the episode.
Back to what you were saying about the story. So we're
right.
on the...
So yeah, it was day one, and I was shocked, and then there I am, and then dealing with that, and then overcoming that, and then fucking another girl to how do you say, like, whatever, not be sad about the other one anymore. And then just a lot of that, like I literally in this week I probably felt the highest highs in my life and the lowest lows, because it's not all party, right? If you look at the Tilted Instagram, it looks amazing, but it's like 15-second clips. Like, you're still on a yacht with 20 girls, and there will be stretches of time where you just sit there for 4 hours and no girl talks to you because for whatever reason, and you just have to deal with that and not make it a big deal and meditate, and
it's a lot of time. It's a lot of downtime, because you don't have, the internet's not very good, and it's not like you're really in an environment where you want to work anyways. But it's
if you're not good in whatever we call now boat game, or in what you mentioned with knowing how to deal with those kind of girls, it can become a horror trip, to be honest, right? Like,
if you put a lot of pressure on yourself to hook up, and you've got this quota in your mind, or these goals that you want to achieve, and they're not, you can't achieve those goals on your own, right? It's not like you're gonna be like, my goal is to hook up with 5 girls. It's a horrible goal, because 5 girls have to want to hook up with you, right? So it's a very difficult environment. I know a lot of guys who I actually invited on trips like this, and they're like, man, I'd love to go, but I'm not confident enough to actually go. Like, and they were honest with me. They're like, I don't know. I don't think I could handle that. Like, I'm not ready for that. I think I'd go and strike out, and I'd be too pissed at myself for striking out.
At least they have the self-awareness for that. Other guys, they wouldn't even voice that. They're just like, they make up an excuse, right? Oh, I'm busy, or no, it's not really my thing, or something like that. Like, it definitely is a journey of self-discovery, like Daygame is. Like, for me, it was like the second stage. I learned so much about myself through Daygame, and built my charisma and seduction skills, and reinvented myself. I was like this shy Austrian nerd, and now, wow, I can arrive in a city and go out and meet girls who wanna at least, for the least, go on a coffee with me, maybe go home with me, maybe hook up with me. Like, that is an insane change. But obviously I always wanted more. So
because Daygame gets most guys out of scarcity. Or not just Daygame, but just approaching, right? And doing something proactively to build a dating funnel. And what I find with myself, it sounds like you went through the same process, and with all the guys I coach, is once they kind of go through that first step of the journey where they get comfortable facing rejection and approaching women, they're able to start dating multiple women and having enough sexual experiences where they're no longer like thirsty and craving that, and they're not sitting in this scarcity, like, I'm gonna get a girlfriend because that's the only way I can get laid mentality. Then from there, guys either get in a relationship typically, and whatever, that's kind of it for them, or maybe they kind of build
as insane as us,
right? Or they're like, I got to take it to the next level. I always make the analogy like hunting versus farming, right? Like Daygame and like approaching, like you're going out, you're hunting, right? Every time you want to eat, you got to go out and hunt. But when it comes to social circle, it's like farming. If you build a social circle, and you have the confidence and the sort of sexual presence to be comfortable around beautiful women, and you know how to like weed out bad men. That's actually one of the hardest things, is finding guys. It's way harder to find a cool guy to do this with than it is to find beautiful, amazing women that want to party with you. Like I say, like one awesome guy is worth like 50 to 100 women. It's like not worth in terms of value, but it's that hard to find.
Yeah,
like
in terms of scarcity. Yeah.
Right. And then, like I said, with if you follow the kind of the right steps and you build this social circle, you don't have to approach anymore. You don't have to go out and hunt. You can then sort of like reap the harvest of that hard work, and you have so many leads through that social circle. You've got pre-selection, you've got status within that. So that's the circle you've built. And that's really why this trip in the Maldives was so amazing, because we all came in with pre-selection status, right?
Yeah.
Like Vitaly found the girls and he introduced us to them before the trip, right? Obviously all the girls, like, these guys have to be successful to be coming on this yacht in the first place.
Afford it, right? Yeah.
Right. And they must be cool.
Which is funny, just the mindset of like, now still guys are like, oh, but do the girls know that I'm paying for this? And and I'm like, yeah, that's good. Like, it's cool. You're fucking baller.
Yachts aren't free.
Yeah.
It's like,
who do you think's paying for
it?
It's
right.
It's pre-selection. Like, guys are worried to be the simp or whatever who pays for the yacht. And I'm like, no, you're the fucking boss. You're only the simp if you then immediately on day one expect something in return. Right. Exactly. But if you're just a baller who just sets it up and then chills, then you will get laid. Yeah. One thing, just to go on this farming and hunting thing, I remember one thing super clearly that you said. I don't know, was it on the workshop or at some point you just in passing, but it stuck with me, which was like, yeah, there's this transition, right? We all start out with approaching, and basically that's our clients, right? They live in a world of analytical jobs, masculine environment, a lot of guys around them, and we help them go from not having any women in their life or not any of the women they want, maybe here and there a Tinder date and here and there from social circle, to get more, to get out of scarcity, to be able to approach, to get women in their life. And then it transitions to social circle if you do it, if you don't end up in a relationship. And one thing you said is, if you combine those two, is amazing, because I remember you said, oh, when I go on a date, you said this, I just meet her for 10 minutes and then I'm like, all right, see ya, and I'm like, what? You can do that? You can just like, you don't have to then sit with her for 3 hours and try to escalate and touch her and try to bring her home. You can just like, meet her, have a chat, and then excuse yourself and then invite her to a party. And you were like, yeah, that's cool, because then she knows you're cool. You're not instantly trying to fuck her. And then she's way more likely to come to your party. And in the long term, it's way easier to fuck her that way. And I was like, fuck, that's genius. That's so much better. And I'm teaching that to guys now as well. Like, I think the guys who really come from the hardcore pickup school, you see it as soon as a girl says, I have a boyfriend on the street, they're like, all right, bye. They almost get angry that she has a boyfriend. I'm like, bro, she's still fucking a sexy, 9 blonde model that she would be happily, has hot friends, would be happily, come to your party, follow you on Instagram. And if you not fuck it up, at some point, fuck you once she breaks up with her boyfriend. So yeah.
It's funny. Recently I came up with, I don't know if you guys have any like responses for I have a boyfriend during Daygame. But I came up with a pretty good one. It's the best one I think I've ever heard so far. I haven't told anyone about it except for the guys in my group, but I'll share it with you. I want to get your thoughts, and the guys listening can try it out. So when a girl says I have like a Daygame approach, right? And obviously if you like walk up to her and you approach her and she's like, I have a boyfriend, and she's giving you that like fuck off energy, like, yeah, that's just her way of saying fuck off in a nice way. Yeah. Right. But if she kind of lights up when you approach and she's like sincerely flattered and she goes, oh, I have a boyfriend, like, and she seems almost like,
after like 5 minutes of flirtatious conversation.
Yeah. And if she's flirty and she's nice and she's warm, and then she tells you I have a boyfriend, I was like, well, of course you have a boyfriend. Like, obviously you've got a roster of potential boyfriends that are just there waiting as soon as you break up with your guy to swoop in. And who's kind of first on that list and second or third. Come on, be honest. You got that roster, right? And they're always like, Yeah, I guess. I'm like, all right. So I listen, I want to wish you the best in your relationship. I hope it works out. But if it doesn't, I want to be on that roster. So
Yeah.
we're trading Instagrams, right? So that's my like boyfriend destroyer thing. Because then you get the Instagram and you're like, you know, you can engage with her in stories, and obviously the odds of her staying with that boyfriend are slim to none, like 99.99%.
21 or 23
exactly.
or whatever, you know.
And
sure, if she's 32, yeah, or 29. Yeah, that's great, and that's pretty, you know, that's pretty much what I do as well. Like as soon, like what I never do is like resist to it or try to convince her, like
right,
to the boys out there who are
what's your
like,
boyfriend's name?
But
is it real?
Do you love him? You know,
Right.
I proof that you love him. I'm like, bro, like she met you 20 seconds ago. She's not gonna leave her boyfriend for this fucking good, especially not with that attitude, right? So I'm always the same. I'm like, that's great, you know, cool. Maybe ask a question. Oh, he's also from whatever, Spain. Yeah, oh, that's nice. Hey, you're super friendly, you know. You're cool. Let's be friends on Instagram. And basically, because I say it with a, you know, a certain look, and my Instagram is pretty obviously like a bit fuckboy heavy, she gets the idea. And then that's where it's good social media just is so important, to stay in touch with people, right? If you can communicate about your life and about yourself through your photos, through your stories, she can then continuously get to know you over the next couple of months. And then she breaks up in 5 months. She's like, you know, your story pops up again, like, oh, this guy, I remember him. He has a cool life. Oh yeah, I've been following for a while. Oh yeah, he seems to still be single. Maybe I should react to one of his stories once, right? Which is a big deal. Like, guys don't understand that a girl reacting to your story is an invitation to open her and then show her interest and meet her. So yeah, I went pretty heavily also with the combination, you know, what followed, because our lifestyle became pretty cool, to show it on social media. And I spent like the last year really teaching a lot of guys how to build their online presence way more, because Daygame is cool, but let's be honest, if the conversation doesn't like go super well, where she wants to meet you straight away or the next day, it usually fizzles out, right? Yeah. Like, it's very difficult to stay in touch with a girl who is like sort of interested in you over WhatsApp.
Right.
Except you're really good at texting, which I'm just not. But I'm really good at building an archetype on social media and make girls follow me. So that's what I'm teaching.
Yeah. Like before Instagram was a thing, I got really good at texting. And, you know, I just had a lot of like funny shit and content and memes and stuff like, you know, to send girls, but it was like a full-time job managing those contacts to try to get dates. Now with Instagram, you can kind of, you know, you can just post stories and
you mass message basically, right? Like,
exactly. It's mass
I can
messaging.
talk to hundreds of girls at the same time with one fucking click.
It's the most amazing dating tool that was ever invented. But circling back, because one thing I think it's important to also distinguish, you know, so we're talking about kind of making that transition from like Daygame to social circle. And when you do, I feel like all the guys that are successful making that transition also come up with some sort of shtick. And by shtick, I mean something that's like model or hot girl friendly, that merges like what your main job is with like what they're doing, and gives you kind of a reason for being in that environment. So like either you're a photographer, or you're like a party promoter, or you own a model house, or you're running like, you know,
yoga
some
studio
sort of
maybe, or
exactly yoga studio. Right. So you need to find some sort of inroad. I mean, photography is definitely like one of the biggest ones out there. And you were already a photographer when we were going on that trip. And you were like, you know, Vitaly usually brought like a professional photographer, and I was like, dude, we don't want a professional photographer. We have one. We've got Alex. Like he's you know,
all right.
He's maybe he's not professional, but we can say he is. Why not? Right. And you know, you're a drone pilot, and so that definitely gives you more status in the environment too. And I think as time went on, you really leveraged that. I remember we we were leaving the Maldives and we had a flight back together through Dubai and a long layover. And I think we were kind of talking about like, where do we go from here? Right. Because we're both like, we just had the most incredible, insane week of our life. How do we go back
super
to
high
normal?
on like all the hormones, just like, oh.
I was like, how the fuck do I go back to my regular life?
I know.
Like, how do
I had a
fly
pretty
back
like a horrible week after. How was your week after? It's like, I was just like, what? I have to do work, sit in front of a computer now.
Well, I was kind of living in Joshua Tree, having us kind of not that different of a life. Actually, we had like a bunch of girls kind of living with us on like a ranch in Joshua Tree. Some like crazy girls we met on Seeking Arrangements and other party girls. And like I said, it was already kind of like my lifestyle in the US.
You had it figured out already. Yeah, I mean,
right. So, I just kind of transitioned back. It was, I kind of call it like the Burning Man lifestyle, where like your whole life is just like going from party to party. You're making money, obviously, on the side with whatever you're doing. Like I was making money coaching and through real estate with my Airbnb investments. But we were, we always had women around us. We had like this kind of like family of like traveling crazy, people who were, we rented RVs and we went to Sedona for a week. Like between Maldives 1 and Vitali's birthday party, which was like a month and a half later, I was hanging out in Sedona that entire time, like van lifing and partying there. So for me, it was pretty similar. I was talking to Chris Tuna, like every day,
right?
Because we had that like relationship going from the, just waiting for Vitali's birthday, which was a big party in Cyprus. So yeah, what was your week like after the Maldives?
Yeah, I was back in Budapest. I got back to working, I don't know, editing videos and whatever. And had a drama with my girlfriend already before the Maldives. She was in Brazil back then. I was angry at her because she messed up something. I don't know. We've been together for like 3 or 4 years at this point, and that kind of gave me also like an excuse to go to the Maldives, right? Because she messed up something and I was blah. And you could see how that was just too much to handle for her, right? Like even though we were open, I was allowed to, I was like the cute Austrian guy who sometimes gets girls for Daygame, and that's okay. But like being on a yacht with 20 models and they're all Instagram storing all day long, and she obviously couldn't resist to like check on girls' profile, which is obviously horrible for girls, that was just too much for her. And so we broke up. So it wasn't fun at all, right? It was like that relationship broke up. I came off that adrenaline. I realized that was a crazy dream world. And yeah, that was basically that. And then kind of back to normal life for that time for me.
And then we did Vitali's birthday in Cyprus. Maldives was end of January, right? Yeah. Vitali's birthday was it 3 weeks later? Was that it? February, end of February.
Sounds super early. I mean, his birthday is in February. Was it? Did he do it so early? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was only
later.
3 weeks. Yeah, it was not a lot of time in between. Yeah. So we're coming off the Maldives experience, then we go to Cyprus, and Cyprus was again back to the standard 120 girls, 20 or 30 guys, but it's a villa party. Guys are showing up for a day or two. It's not like there's any sort of organization or sort of masterminding around the guys. Like every day in the Maldives, remember we'd sit down and we'd like debrief.
Yeah, what went down. This was the best part of the team meetings, the men team meetings.
The men
strategy sessions. Yeah.
But Cyprus, a whole different bag of worms. There's, way too many people there. It's crazy. There's
different weird guys. We're not on the same page, right? Some who
they're shooting a porn.
I arrived. They were shooting porn. They like instantly like, go away. I'm like, I'm here. Like I'm a guest. Oh, okay. Just like, yeah.
Yeah, it was totally not the same thing. It was way more like just wacky than his other birthday party the year before. in Western Ukraine. You and I both kind of like, I was really excited to kind of see like my Maldives girlfriend, right? She was coming back, but this trip,
I was super excited to see mine.
But now there's like all these other people in the mix. Like they didn't have that family feel, right? It was just too big, too much stuff going on. It resulted in like a decent amount of drama for me. Like me and the girl were, we were fighting a bit, and like, because I'm off banging and like worried that she's gonna bang someone, but knowing that she's gonna bang someone, and like, at one point we try to have like a foursome with me, her, another guy, and what was that Russian blogger's name?
Kiki
Boy, right?
Boy,
yeah. But then like right when we were about to have the foursome, like I couldn't get it up because I had this like dumb anxiety about something else. I think Christina was doing shit that was like pissing me off, and it was like killing my my Johnson, or in Germany, as they say, your Johannes, or I guess in Austria too.
Yeah, that's right. How do you know?
So, and then it just wasn't as cool. It didn't have that family feel. And what was your take on that?
Yeah, for me it was super weird because I was really looking forward to seeing that girl again, because I was attached to her, right? Like she's been texting me cute stuff, sending me nude photos. So we met, but I was just too into her. Like the reality is I was just too into her. And then back to her, back to what we talked about before, of like, she knew she's got me, which just made it boring for her, right? I instantly, even though I had all those other girls around me, and I was this cool guy, and I was this photographer in the Maldives, I was like, oh, I only want you, right? And we banged one time on the first day. It was like weird sex. I was like, I felt her energies off. I got it up a little bit, but then lost my boner again. We tried again, kind of cuddled a bit. And then it was kind of it. And then she just spent the rest of the week banging other guys, which is like this horror for me. And just like that was like the nail in the coffin with my other girlfriend. It was just like, it was basically like, if you go to Cyprus, it's over. And I was like, yeah, I have to, because I'm whatever, 25, and I am crazy and I want to experience crazy things, and I just can't settle down, and I'm sorry, and it's horrible, but I just knew I had to go down that path. I just had to make those experiences, because I didn't want to be the guy who's like married, 45, and seeing photos of a yacht, and seeing music videos and being like, oh, if I could just, now I've done it. Like, it was in a way healthy. And I'm sure you've got a lot to say about that, which is like, I'm in a relationship now. I'm in a monogamous relationship. I don't mind at all. I don't need to bang other girls, right?
Yeah, same.
I've been more advanced. Like, you're always 2 years ahead of me. Everything you do. Except me.
Yeah, I'm engaged. I'll be married in the next 90 days.
Yeah, congratulations.
Wow. Thanks. Yeah, we just got to the US with my fiance, 90-day fiance. You got 90 days to make it official. So, and I've been monogamous for, it'll be 2 years in like it's been 2 years basically. And my giving a fuck about, having those other wild, crazy sexual experiences that were like the only thing I was interested in the past. Now I'd way rather just like go to the golf course and play 9 holes, hang out with my dog.
But you need to live it, right? You cannot read it in a book.
100%.
If you just read Dan Bilzerian's book and be like, all right, you have to live it, because it is fun. I mean, it was fucking wild, hilarious, insane.
You're always going to be looking over your shoulder, thinking of, the times you should have had, like, and I think it'll sabotage every relationship you'll have as a man if you feel like you need to do those things and you don't. And it sabotaged
you will
all of
develop resentment towards your woman, because she cannot be, a relationship is just a totally different thing. And then if you want that your relationship is also a crazy party with a young girl,
I think what you said was super valuable just then, you will resent every woman you're with. And that's what was always sabotaging my relationships in the past. I would just start resenting my girlfriend for like the weirdest stuff. I remember I was dating this one girl who had like, everyone called her like professional ass because she had just this ridiculous like Kim Kardashian ass. She was Israeli, super hot, whatever. And in the beginning, I was obsessed with her ass. And by the end of the relationship, I didn't like her ass. Like, her ass is too big. It had nothing to do with her ass. Her ass didn't change.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It was all the resentment of wanting to go out and do crazy stuff and feeling like I couldn't because I was trapped in this relationship. That I
men
wanted.
have that. As soon as it gets serious, we self-sabotage. Yeah, ourselves, and we sabotage a relationship because we're like, oh, does that take away my freedom? And happens a lot. Yeah. So yeah, what else should we talk about?
So after Cyprus, just to kind of, I want to find out how the transition to Tilted kind of became a thing, because what happened for me over the rest of kind of 2018 and into early 2019 is I continued running these parties, but I did 2 more Maldives trips. We did a party at the Pope's Castle, obviously a former dead Pope in Italy. We did a month-long party in a Greek villa on an island. My life was just Maldives trips 1 week after the next.
That's crazy.
And by the end of 2018, I had basically checked off everything on anyone's sexual bucket list many times over. I had a threesome on a commercial airliner in the bathroom. Like, I was like, I never joined the Mile High Club. Let me do it with 2 girls at the same time. So, like, just stupid stuff like that, where eventually I got to the point where I'm like, all right, this isn't as cool as it was. I think there's some Dan Bilzerian quote that's saying like pleasure is diminishing, or pleasure is different than happiness, where like pleasure stops becoming pleasurable.
It's like a drug. We always need more. Yeah.
Exactly. So by the end of that year, and just, I had been like, doing this stuff for like 12 years at that point. And just doing it to that level where it was just every single day, it's that rush of like, oh, I have a new girl's interested, I'm gonna bang her, I'm gonna have a threesome with her. I mean, it is like after a while, like that's so fun to be in that energy. Right. It just becomes, you're like, oh God, now I got to deal with all these hungry girls that want like to go shopping and eat and, want to be entertained and blah, blah. So at the end of that year, I was just like, you know what, I'm kind of burned out on this. I'm going to focus more back on coaching, because I wasn't doing much coaching during the time where I was organizing all the parties.
How could you, if you fucking have to babysit 15 girls every day?
Right.
It's impossible to get any work done.
Totally impossible. I had like drained my bank accounts as well, because, it's not like I was paying for the trips. Like, other guys were coming and like those funds were paying the trips. But when I was in Kiev, like, I had all these girls that were like around all the time. Got to take them to dinner. Like, it's like it's insane having kids almost, like,
even on trips, your shit breaks, and then suddenly who's gonna pick up the bill and yeah, I know how it is.
Someone crashes an RV, you got or an ATV, you got to pay for that quad. So and so anyways, after that, I just kind of got out of that world a bit, and then maybe like a year later, that's when you guys were like, we're doing Tilted, and we're gonna run with this. And I was like, good luck, guys, have at it. Like, I wish you the best. If you ever make money, let me know. So
because you tried to make money and didn't, right? Like, you had the intention to make money.
Well, like, we ran the numbers, and I was like, if you're making like 20 to 30 grand profit on a trip, and you're doing that a couple times a month, and you can get like other guys to help you run them, and it could be a decent business model. And the lifestyle, you're living a billionaire. You're living on paper. But so for me, it was a combination. It was really more just like taxing on my body, because I was partying hard. I was like up all night, like I was making the parties happen, like dabbling in all sorts of substances, and my body just kind of like hit a wall after a while. It's like,
Yeah, I was like, me and Liam were like, how long can Robbie do this? It's insane. Like,
and when I almost went to jail when we got busted for having a bunch of like drugs on the boat in south of France, that party, I think I've told that story on the podcast. If I haven't, I will tell it. But that was when, like, luckily nothing happened because drugs were decriminalized. But one of the parties, like the Coast Guard came and they busted us, and I got a ticket for like 300 euros. But I thought I was going to jail for like 10 years. And that was like a wake up call. I'm like, I need to get out of this lifestyle because it's just a matter of time before something like devastating happens. So, so tell me how that transition went for you, or if there's any of those. We were talking earlier about some principles that, that guys need to embody if they want to kind of transition into having this sort of lifestyle experience. Do you want to go into that now, or you want to talk about
I'll start
Tilted
a little
first?
bit. I'll touch on Tilted. I will not tell the whole story, but it is interesting how it started because I've been running it for over 3 years now. And obviously, we just covered only 2 trips in like, how long have we been going? 1.5 hours? I don't know. And I think I've since then done 20 more. So I've done insane stuff. And so have you. But let me share a little bit about how it started. I mean, basically on that Cyprus trip, the main takeaway for me was the following. There was like you mentioned, Vitaly always brings top photographers, right? And there was a guy there, Sasha Tikhomirov, who, if you know, for the listeners, probably he's not very internationally famous, but he's basically like the Jay Alvarez of Russia. And if you don't know who Jay Alvarez is, the surfer influencer dude. He's this videographer who is, not particularly good looking, but he has an amazing lifestyle. He's really good at making the surfer travel type of content with like one girl in it and like adventurous stuff. And he had a big following. I think back then 300 or 400. Yeah, there we go. 1,000 followers. Now his feed is very focused on his clothing brand. But yeah, as you see here on a couple of photos, gives you the idea. Yeah, surfing, right? Cool guy. Works out with 1 or 2 girls, romantic, So he came on that trip. And
I scroll back, maybe there's some photos.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, there was one girl I'm still simping over. That you
Am I going too fast?
That was so close.
There's Jay Alvarez that you were talking about.
Exactly, right? So first of all, it was cool to meet him. But then, that was actually on a later trip. At some point, we went to Cannes. I don't know when that was, but it doesn't really matter. In Cannes, I learned the following thing. Because just a little story before that, in the meantime, Liam and me were inspired, right? We were inspired by you, by the parties. So we were like, all right, we got to do house parties in Budapest. We got to also bring models. We got to, do pre-drinks and then go to the club and like have everything set up and provide some experience to the girls, which we did. And we did successfully. Like we got laid. I had threesomes, and so on. But it was always a fucking struggle to get girls to come consistently if you don't have something that draws them to it, like the single pitch of, hey, I got this cool party and booze and DJ and some substances and other cool people. It's a nice pitch, but you won't get the top girls, right? They got better offers. So I was on a trip again with this guy Sasha in Cannes, and the thing that shocked me, that like blew my mind, was he would pull up his phone because he was kind of responsible of inviting girls to that trip to shoot with him. And all he had to do was put up one story on his Instagram, basically saying, hey, who wants to come to Cannes in whatever those dates in 2 weeks and be part of this lifestyle video shoot. And the hottest girls of Russia would respond to him, and they would like beg him to be invited. And I was like, holy shit, like that's a level of power that I don't know anybody in the world who has that. Not even the billionaires, not the guy with the villa and the yacht. It's him offering something that they really want, which is being in this beautiful content, getting the followers, getting the great photos, being in this, in general, in this environment, right? Because he always portrays it in a cool way. And that's basically why I was like, I need a brand, you know. Either I'm gonna become this guy myself, but I won't, because I'm not doing extreme sports enough. I'm not jumping out of planes enough to be cool enough for social media or whatever to build a huge following. But I can make a bikini brand that, you know, creates trips, and I can bring those photographers on. And that's kind of how it started. And I think one advantage of us was we never tried to make money. Like
Right.
every guy who starts a project like this, they do what you did, which is like write a business plan and calculate how much dollar they could make. I think we realized early it's a horrible business plan. And we always tried to just make it break even. You know, that's what I think made it survive over 3 years. And yeah, and then what followed is just, you know, it started humble. I still had to put my own money in. We did trips with like me, Liam, a couple of guys chip in, similar to like going to the club. You know, the guys pay the table and a bottle and bring girls, and we text them. And then we had enough money to bring a photographer who would bring in more girls and so on. So trying to replicate basically what a Playboy Vitaly Ukraine guy did, but he had the brand Playboy, which is obviously a big brand. Our goal is to basically be a modern day Playboy in this sense. And yeah, what followed is just 3 years of insanity and me really understanding this world and really understanding models and what they want and how they think, and, you know, the skills you have to have as a man to attract those kind of girls.
And there's no experience, or sorry, there's no substitute for experience when it comes to being around those women and understanding them and just getting comfortable in that environment. You know, like I think on that first trip, you know, for you guys, it was like your first crack at it. Where for me, like when all those girls walked on the boat, I was already like very comfortable in that environment because I had been on so many sort of nothing of that scale, but other events. Like just I always just remembered like prior to, you know, back in my nice guy days, like a girl that I really liked would walk in the room, I would just become like a shell of myself. I'd feel myself like kind of minimizing and going inward. And it just took a ton of reps in those environments, getting to the point where I was like, you know what, this is who I am. I'm comfortable. I know what I'm doing. I kind of
you
have
always
like a
said
roadmap.
You need reps, another
reps.
You know, that was what kept us going as well.
Yeah. So like, I can only imagine, like, I remember when you guys were doing it, and, you know, I was always just curious how, you know, I was like, I don't know how long they could do it for. I didn't think it would still be going. And then when it turned tilted, I feel like turned a corner. I don't know. I felt like maybe it was like 6 months or a year into it when you guys just started getting like so many consistent, seemed like the same kind of guys coming back over and over, and then new girls. And it really did. And it was a lot of the, so many of those tilted girls, like the tilted family, were obviously the girls I knew in Ukraine, like all of my friends too. And you guys did such a good job of like creating that family vibe.
Which we learned on that first trip, right?
And branding it, of course. So was
there
there any other
like 2021 was just crazy because it started with, as you did, like coaching clients who wanted to understand themselves better in those environments and have more reps. So that's what kind of funded the trips at the beginning. And obviously it didn't make money because we barely broke even or still had to chip in if something broke and so on. And then 2021 was a big shift where I don't know why exactly, but, you know, the Instagram grew, people just, you know, we got an attention, and I guess crypto was doing well. And then like
crypto
some of
came
the
back.
big crypto guys were just like, hey, I'll try this, you know, and like 80K was not a lot to them. They would make that in a day or two. And so that gave us huge momentum. That gave us the ability to bring hotter girls. And then it was just kind of snowballing from there. And it gave us the ability to finally charge a premium, you know, because at the beginning, it was just super exciting, right, to do this for myself. Now, I mean, to be honest, first of all, we have expenses. We have like one woman who's only booking flights. We have another personal assistant. We have video editors. We have photographers. We have an accountant. Everything needs to be paid. So putting 20 sexy, free, wild girls into one location and organizing everything, I'm now at a level I'm like, I'm not going to do this for free anymore. Like, it's my fucking time. It's my IP, it's like my brand. We put a lot of work in it, sweat, tears, money. So now we're at a level where we just charge extra and people are like, oh yeah, sure, makes sense, right? You're not going to the steakhouse and you're requesting that they sell it to you at cost price, or like what it costs to cook. So what I learned to kind of wrap that up or transition is like, I kind of came up, this is kind of a model in work, and I'm writing a little ebook on it now and going to talk about it more in speeches. But if you think about it, and I'm curious about your opinion since you've been doing this journey for a while as well, if you I have like those 5 elements of what guys, let's say, are doing to get girls. They're getting fit, going to the gym, building a strong body. They work on their style, their fashion, their looks. I guess tattoos is part of that and stuff like this. They try to make money, of course. It's a big one. If I have the car, then this. If I have the boat, then chicks will come. They work on their network / lifestyle, which we did heavily as well, right? In the later phase. And then the fifth one is, of course, your game, your charm, your communication skills. And that's obviously a big range. Like, how good are you in bed? How good are you at touch? How good are you at putting pressure on a girl? And understanding what a girl needs. As you mentioned, talking to a girl on the street is a whole different thing than sitting at a table with 8 models where you have to be way more leaned back, and understanding all those dynamics. It's basically understanding social dynamics, sexuality, and so on. And I would literally put, like, if we had 100 points and I would say, what's important and what's not, I would put maybe 8% fitness, 10% fashion, 20% network, 60% charm game, and like 2% money. Because if you only have money and you're not using the money, it doesn't help you at all. Like, people think I just buy a thing with cash and then girls will suck my dick, like they might show up to get good Instagram photos, but from they are sitting there drinking the expensive $5,000 bottle of champagne to they lovingly sucking your dick is a big, big, big gap, right?
Huge.
What do you think about that? Like, do you agree, or what was your experience?
Yeah, 100%. Like, the amount of wealthy dudes out there who are just total zeros when it comes to women that's the huge majority, massive majority, right?
And they are kind of trapped. Sorry to interrupt, but it's like, because they build such a big ego because they're rich for a reason, right? They're good at their craft. They're fucking running huge companies. They have thousands of employees. They're the boss in this area. And now it's really hard for them to, like, I don't know, hire a dating coach like you and me who tells them what to do. And like, fuck this, 21-year-old Austrian guy. Who does he think he is?
Totally. And they're older because it takes a while to acquire that sort of wealth.
Yeah.
Like, I think when guys, they hit like a crossroads, maybe it was after university or some point in their kind of like early 20s, when they're like, I can either focus on women and dating and my social life, or I could focus on getting rich. And I think it's a function of our culture, especially Western culture, which is like, make money and the rest will just come, right? Go to school, get good grades, go to a good university, make shitloads of money, and then your life will be awesome. That's kind of what they push on everyone. And these guys will, they'll focus 100% on getting rich, and then by the time they're like 35, they'll be rich and they've got a huge ego, and they're still like, single, and now they're hiring like matchmakers to try to find girls for them, and they're striking out on Tinder with the hot ones. They're getting dates with like, girls they're not that attracted to, but their ego is so big because maybe they've got, millions of dollars and they're running a big company and everyone's like, sucking their dick in that realm. But on dates, they're not really getting anywhere, or they're just not getting the quality.
I got so sad the other day when somebody like, because the thing is, there's this big culture of productivity, hustle, personal development, even optimization. Those guys on YouTube, right? Like the guys who like have everything optimized and they'll
wake up at 5 a.m. do this, right?
And even like in a cool, like not even like nagging them in a cool way, like cool, they have their passive income sort of, or they build something, and it seems like their life is really good. They do their holidays. They never talk about dating. None of those guys ever talk about their dating life.
So true,
right? They have
there's nothing to talk about.
Out, how much their channel makes, their morning routine, perfect, everything a 10 out of 10. They don't even mention being rejected by a girl once, or how they felt shit when she, walked away or didn't text back. And there's this one guy, I literally have tattoos of him because I love his philosophy so much. Naval Ravikant. And he's this cool guy. He's like super smart investor, talks good stuff. And I was like, then I heard the story how he's just like invited a girl on a hike and then awkwardly tried to kiss her on the top of the hill and like fucked it up, and just like, oh no, I thought this guy's cool, like they all don't have it figured out. So I'm personally so grateful that I chose the path of learning social skills.
Dude, me too.
Making money on the way enough. I could make 10 times more money. Like I'm smart, I'm strategic, I don't give a fuck. I have a way better life now than I would be being stuck with a huge business.
Totally. I mean, I'm so glad I went that route too. I just kind of always knew that stuff was going to give me more satisfaction and more long-term happiness. I think the quality of the people in your life are a much bigger dictator of your happiness than how much money you have 100%. In your bank account. Right.
I mean, that's scientifically proven, right? It's still the relationships you have with them, with yourself. Yeah.
Totally. And I was also lucky enough where, I was raised in like a upper middle class family. So money was never like a big thing for us. Like, it's not like I was rich or spoiled or anything like that, but, we always there was never any like stress over money. Whereas I can't really, I can't speak to guys that maybe grew up really poor and then they have this huge desire to kind of go after that. Mine was more like I grew up like pussy poor. Like I was always the nice guy loser to not get any, and that really fueled me to be like, I'm focusing on this hardcore. So maybe for guys that grew up like really poor, that it's for other reasons. But if you don't focus on your social skills and if you don't learn those skills, eventually you're gonna have to, right? Like either way, my old mentor and business partner said, either way you're gonna pay. Either you're gonna pay in pain of like getting rejected, you're going to pay in a really expensive divorce, or you're going to pay by hiring a dating coach and putting your ego aside. But either way, you got to pay to learn those essential social skills to create, those relationships that you want in your life. Right. Because, we put in the hard work, years and decade of learning the stuff, investing time in like going to parties, going to events, popping bottles, like wasting money on shit. The guys are like, popping bottles, that's the biggest waste of money ever. It's like, yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to leverage it. But if you do know what you're doing, you could be walking away with 6 really high quality phone numbers that night. And when you reverse and do the math compared to all those time you're spending on Tinder, you're actually saving a lot of money by doing it to get into the economics of it. But yeah, getting back to your point, finance is, obviously you should try to make money along the way. And if you're 40
money
years
is
old,
great for many other reasons, right? Like I love money. I'm not against money. I love having it and being able to spend it. And now with a girlfriend, it's cool to be able to buy her a flight or pay into those parties or fucking buy yourself the newest iPhone because you feel like it. That's great. But thinking money will lead to instant pussy. Yeah.
What I always did was, my first job at a university was working in finance, and I hated it, hated my life. Like it was the worst 2 years of my life, like 22 to 24. But that's when I got into game, and that's when I started learning this stuff. And I did the same thing kind of that you did, where I interned for a company. It was called Pickup 101 up in San Francisco. And well, first I was a student. I had enough money to like pay for boot camps, and because I, had some money from online poker that I was pretty good at in university. But then I was good, and they hired me to coach. And then when the market collapsed in 2008, I started Inner Confidence. I just became a dating coach rather than going back into finance. And then I just found a way to make money like as a coach. But really all I was doing was like trying to improve my own game, trying to improve my own skills, and showing other guys along the way how I was doing it. But it wasn't until really like I never focused hardcore on my business because I was always just focused on getting better with women. And I always made enough money to kind of scrap by. And it wasn't until I started getting involved in like, passive income investing with Airbnb in 2015 when I started to make like, some like life-changing money. But that was again, sort of right place, right time. I caught the Airbnb wave. I started subletting, my apartment in New York City, and I was making like 3 times my rent. And then we did it in LA and Miami, and just kind of
golden times when Airbnb just came out, right? People didn't
just
know
came
yet
out.
what it is.
Yeah. I would just,
Nice.
tell a landlord, hey, I want to rent out your place and put it on Airbnb. They're like, what's Airbnb? You're going to pay the rent on time? Okay, no worries. Right.
Yeah.
So it was literally right place, right time. And, I think Airbnb is an amazing strategy for guys, as a passive income source, as a side business, because it can supplement what you're doing. It can also add a lot of lifestyle benefits, having a place in different cities when you want to travel, learning real estate for a later date. But it's, there's these guys that teach like on Airbnb courses, right? And they're like obsessed with like this. You got to do this. You got to do this. Blah, blah, blah. You got to want to be this like Airbnb tycoon. And I'm like, fuck that. Like, just do it as a side hustle
and have a good time.
Use that money to like sustain your lifestyle. Like, no one wants to be an Airbnb fucking tycoon. There's zero like luxury in that. Like, no one's impressed that you're like you run a bunch of like fake hotels, right? But use it as your lifestyle. Use it as a supplement. And find, because and use that money to like supplement whatever your passion is, right? And that's always how I kind of used it. But
100%. I mean, literally, the reason I'm building the business now, like I'm at a point now where I learned a lot. I'm very confident in my coaching. I can offer guys basically advice, how to get a girl in your life from the street, from Daygame. I can then teach them how to build their social medias to stay in touch with girls. And then I can take them on an insane Tilted trip to spend time with 20 models if they can afford it and learn the next level. So do I want to become a billionaire? No, not at all. I want to work on my business, like you say, make enough money to have a cool lifestyle, and then work on all, like, people are forgetting how many things there are in life. They're like, there's money and then I get married. It's like, bro, like, are you flexible? How do you look? Do you love your body? Are you good in bed? Do you know how to fucking spend a beautiful evening with a girl and make her fucking crazy? Do you enjoy sports? Do you see nature? Like, I want to learn about the world. Like, I'm very easily fascinated with literally everything. Like, you put a physics book in front of me, I'm like, fuck, this shit is cool. And you put you talk about chemistry, I'm like, that's fascinating. And astrology, and like, I want to make money to spend time on all those things. And sustain my insane lifestyle, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I think I know a lot of guys richer than me that I would never change places with, because I have enough money where I can do what I want when I want to with who I want to. And I can explore all these different passions I have. Like, I got really into chess about a year ago. Nice. I got pretty good, like, trying to make it maybe on like the PGA Tour one of these days. Like, that's
on
gonna
chess?
Be no, on golf. Like,
golf.
Circled back to my golf aspirations, before I got into girls.
Yeah, you're living it. It's great.
Well, it's it's just, and that's the other thing too, is guys think like, oh, I want to retire. and
Bullshit.
I'm gonna
Like,
work
what?
hard and then I'm gonna
What
retire.
do you mean, bro? Like, you're
what are you
never gonna
fucking do?
retire. You're not gonna work till you're 65 and then suddenly go from 100 to 0. Like,
Never.
You do a 1 month of retirement, go to fucking Thailand and retire, and then see how fucking bored you will be because you have no girls. You will be alone at the beach. You don't know how to talk to anyone. Like,
You'll just be a miserable old grumpy man alone.
yeah, with an ugly wife at best.
Yeah, it's I think people, just the mainstream thinking is just so off, leads people down these horrible paths. But yeah, so I agree totally with those 5 sort of areas, and with finance and just the thing that's going to bring the most utility, happiness to your life is understanding social skills. Like, if you have good social skills, the world is your oyster. You can create relationships, make connections, understand like how to use the skills and the value you have to link up with other people and deliver more value. But if you don't have those social skills, that value never gets realized.
Nothing else matters. You could have the best setup. Like, you could own Victoria's Secret, right, where you're surrounded by models, which on paper is perfect. But if you just don't know how to talk to them, you're still gonna be a grumpy man because you're gonna be super salty that you're surrounded by all those models and they don't want to fuck me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
guys who are listening, how can they, if anyone wants to get involved with Tilted, or if anyone wants to get involved with coaching or any of the other stuff, tell us more about, how dudes, if they want to come on a trip, they can, or if they just want to get better at Daygame, from you, how do they do that?
Yeah, they can do both. You can put a link basically to a call. I'm doing discovery calls, me or my partner Ryan, and I just gonna talk to you where you at in life. Obviously, different guys are at different stages, and different guys want different things. And we're gonna go on a discovery call. We're gonna talk about your options and how we can work together. I do offer literally one-on-one training on the street where I'm listening in on the guy and I'm giving feedback, and I'm on the street in real time improving his skills. And we're going to record the whole thing so you can listen to it back later. So that's like super effective. And if he wants to, blow a bunch of money and have the next fucking level, then we can talk about that too. And you can come on a Tilted trip. You can put the Instagram. The Instagram is on private, by the way, because the stuff is just too crazy to put public because people always report us.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, if you want to sit in the middle of those 3 chicks.
Lyra. The page is looking good. Looking amazing.
Yeah, we actually had a bit of a shift recently. Because before, I don't know if you remember, it was like butts, like 20 girls lined up. Mm-hmm. And we were like, let's make it a bit more classic, a little more mood passion, for the fancy guy. We just understood that the current clients we have, which is like multimillionaires, would rather have like, the G-Wagon and the more aesthetic look and the villa than the 20 butts Dan Bilzerian thing. But
right.
When you're there, it still is pretty
great shot.
Like, oh, thank you. Yeah.
No, I like what you've done with the page. Looks great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always evolving and trying to understand to be honest, to make money with this, which is obviously also a goal. We bring in guys at high net worth, but to be also, because I can say it here because the rich guys maybe don't listen, the best trips are the ones with the guys who really want to develop themselves. Who are not like, okay, I'm this workhorse, I have fucking 200 million in the bank. Sure, I want to bang some girls. The fucking best trips were the ones that we mentioned during this podcast, which is like, it's cool guys. They want to improve. They want to understand.
How would you rate our first Maldives trip compared to, like, is it in the top 3? Is it in the top 10? Was it the best one? Like, what does it rate
from all the trips I've done?
Yeah.
It's so hard because it's like every trip gives me a different thing, right? Like,
of course,
it's the best because I learned a lot and it blew my mind, right? So like I
It's
never
the
want to miss
first
it
as well, of course.
Yeah, it's the first.
Yeah.
It got me in without it. So it's that reason alone, it's in the top 3. And there's other trips where I banged only one girl, but it was amazing because I figured out a new thing. Or another one where like there's trips now, like now, to be honest, it shifted totally for me. For me, it's about meeting cool guys now.
Of course.
Because a guy who comes on a tilted trip,
that transition is important too,
right?
Yeah.
His net worth is good. In order to come on a trip, you have to be cool because there's a lot of guys who want to just treat tilted as a hooker menu and just tell us who to bring. And we're like, bro, that doesn't work like that. Like, we choose the girls, we're gonna create an atmosphere. They're not escorts. They're here to have fun and be treated with respect, and amazing things will happen. Trust us. And guys who accept that are cool guys. So for me now, the trips are like meeting super, super interesting young guys who, did well for themselves. So yeah, every trip is different.
Right. Yeah. For me, I mean, I've had many trips after too, but there was just something about that first trip. I think it was just the amount of like, we were all just so on the same page and all working together, like as a team, and like helping each other out, and just in a lot of communication and having fun. Obviously it was the first one that for whatever reason, that one was just, it was the best group of guys, I think.
Yeah. And we still do that. Like, we took a lot of that trip, but we still do those meetings. We still a lot of the lessons there, we still totally implemented into Tilted.
Nice. We still have the group chat.
That's insane. After 4 years, we still have. And how many guys are now married? 3 out of 6 are now married.
Yeah. Well, me, Leo,
2 more in relationships.
Almost married. So
yeah, and just like for me, it was just as I said, the trip where I met people who do it, right? Who that's their life, and now people have the opportunity to go on trips with me. And I'm super happy to share. Like, that's the other beautiful thing, right? I'm not going to be the alpha who's like banging all the chicks and makes you feel bad. I'm your buddy on the trip. I want you to have fun and get laid and understand. Like, me and Liam sit there for hours talking to guys, coaching them. So it is like half a coaching event, half a party, which makes it so special and different to, I think, anything that's out there.
Yeah, and I've had the opportunity too to work with some of the same guys, like after some of the trips, and go over a lot of these like really high level social skills. So that's been cool for me too. So it's and I'm always I'm always curious like how you guys are evolving the brand, and I'm impressed with how far it's come. So
thank you.
Hats off to you. I'm so glad you guys, took this this business model that I could never get to work, and made it, made it work in a different, better way. So
far sustainable. Yeah, we'll see. We're launching a new website soon, which makes it easier to for guys to apply. We'll see. Yeah. I'm also super focused on my coaching brand now. Like, I really want to help guys have better relationships, because it's just the thing that's going to lead to the most happiness.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's a
good,
good
man. Glad we thanks for coming on and sharing all these crazy stories. We'll maybe have to do a round 2 later.
Yeah, we can go. We have
maybe like a
stories.
bloopers
we
reel.
Could go on forever, right?
Thanks for listening. If you want more, go to innerconfidence.com, and don't forget to subscribe to this podcast for the latest episodes.